Let's see, was I supposed to pick up the sheets?
I gave one to your husband.
Oh,
for you.
okay.
And she was acting.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, as a counselor. And she moved to.
Well, they were on the rear
She
field,
moved to Madison.
but now they're in my hand.
Oh.
Lazy bones.
Hey, I made waffles and cookies this morning.
Yeah, lazy bones.
Yeah. You can just wait on me the rest of the day.
How about I keep your son occupied the rest of the day?
Nah, I'm the queen, you must wait on me as well. Can you say it's okay? I'm getting my throne.
Okay.
Your throne is across the hall from your bedroom.
No, my throne's in China, I need to go get it real quick.
Okay, Justina.
You need to go get it, it's okay.
Where you get seated.
I know.
So, how's everybody doing? Anything interesting happened this week?
I don't like what out on Friday night. Oh. We got it, let again Saturday morning, the utilities came up.
So you had a chilly Friday, huh?
Chilly Friday evening, but it wasn't as bad as Wednesday and Thursday night, so, you know, I was lucky in that respect, I guess.
Good.
Or the good Lord took care of me.
Anyone else have anything happen?
I got a smartphone and I don't know how to use it.
It won't take you long to get used to it.
Okay.
It won't.
Maybe I'll be able to text Carol.
Wow.
Did you get an Android or an iPhone?
I don't know.
What does the charger look like? Okay.
Little square.
Oi,
Well, here, it's right here. I don't know what I have.
It's flat.
I don't know what to get. Whatever you're
Android.
comfortable with.
How
would I know?
What's the
Well, I
difference?
have
the
taken
difference is the operating system.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
They'll know,
Well,
they'll do the same thing.
You have your fanboys who think one is better than the other. Androids tend to be cheaper than iPhones.
Yeah.
Because iPhones are a brand now, and wherever you have a brand, you get brand loyalty.
Well, it's learning how to use one operating system. You don't want to, for me, it's iPhone because I don't want to have to learn Android the way it doing things.
Yeah.
I know what an iPhone does.
You know, in my house, we're divided. I have an Android and Caitlin has an iPhone.
Yeah.
It's a source of endless conflict.
Like a Catholic and a Jew.
I know, right? Oh.
Well, you know, and I don't know about Android, but I know with iPhone, something called VoiceOver is there. It's on every iPhone there's something called VoiceOver. And that works well for blind people. So.
I have no idea about the functionality of Androids for blind people, but I imagine there's some.
They can.
Yeah.
You can use those too. I know people.
Right. So, as far as all of that goes, I've never been one who cares one way or the other. Give me whatever's cheap.
No, God.
Yeah.
So you can listen in
Well,
to
yeah, I
somebody
didn't
else.
need Facebook back then.
Well, hey,
Listen in on people's conversation. Yeah.
I never experienced that.
Yeah, that went out the window.
We're born,
We
yes.
were first married. That one on a part of mine.
Well, it used to ring no matter if it was somebody else, yours, the phone would ring. I was told that by my brothers and sisters, it would ring 2 short rings and 2 long rings would be one person in another situation, but it always rang. you know, no matter what, so that you knew, oh, that's for Rachel and Myra, I'm gonna listen in on that.
I was gonna say, everybody picked up.
Yeah, exactly.
The sheriff was on our line, the county sheriff. We heard two shorts, boy, you wanted to go pick up. My dad was an early electronics guy. He understood radio early on, he and his brother.
My grandmother and her sister, they talked in German, and finally one of the ladies on the line said, "Oh, you're speaking English."
Well, Dad
Well,
was
you know, if you know someone's listening in on your conversation, a foreign language no one else speaks is really useful.
My dad made a rubberneck switch, he called it. So when we wanted to listen in, we just flipped that switch and then we could talk among ourselves if we wanted to, but we could hear what was going on. They couldn't hear us.
Caitlin and I have discussed buying a car in Chinese
Oh.
because the salesman was standing right there with the way.
So you
Tom
and your wife could
and
negotiate.
Budong, well, Gaishi,
哎呦，
为什么还有?
Leave it.
And now she switched to Yiddish.
That's what I was gonna say.
Fluent in 3 languages, at least.
Anyone have any Ukrainian relatives?
Might, but I don't know them anymore.
That's what.
Although, listening to the news stories from over there, I think I want to hang out with Ukrainians. They have a similar attitude to my own. They don't give that kind of hilarious defiance like that one grandma. Yep, you're gonna want to put seeds in your pocket. Why? So your dead body can grow something.
Oh my. Oh.
Wow.
I took some,
Cojones on that woman, wow.
Yeah.
we had a neighbor kid here, he was a goofy bachelor, he went over to Ukraine, you know, they advertised,
Mhm.
he was dating a gal from over there, and he was over there about 4 or 5 different times, and he said, boy, the Ukrainians, they just hate the Russians. Now they starved a lot of parents out, you know, back in Stalin.
Odd, but just here, there's several other things that have happened over there that have caused some giggles in my household, let's put it that way. There's several things that have happened over there that have caused some giggles in my household. Not only are they defiant, they're hilariously defiant.
Admirably defined.
Some of those people have been through so much, it's just another day in the life.
As of yesterday, the Wells put out a statement, President Schrader talked to the head of the church, of our church over there. And we've got several congregations right in the middle of the war zone, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin put it on Facebook about that.
Let us pray for them.
We're going to.
And we'll need to remember them however this turns out, because it'll be a very hard place to live, either way.
Turns out the big red machine isn't quite as scary as it used to be, is it?
Right.
There's all that, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank
I might go
goodness.
south of it and keep them back in Russia.
That's my
Well,
hope
I don't
too.
think there's people working anyway.
No, but I mean, there's.
But, well, remember what happened the last time the Russians ran a highly unsuccessful military campaign occupation? Yeah. Gorbachev fell shortly after that.
How about the conditions for our missionaries, and I cannot think of the name of the family.
The
but-
Wolfograms? I haven't heard anything.
Are they actually in Moscow, is that?
Oh,
what they-
gosh, no.
Okay.
Novosibirsk. In the,
They're in Siberia.
yeah, you know where Mongolia is?
Mhm.
Due north of there.
Kazakhstan.
No,
No?
Siberia. Kazakhstan is a independent country.
Oh,
Which is pretty close to pretty close to Russia.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
borders
borders
Russia.
Yeah.
It's a former Soviet republic.
And Uzbekistan.
Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan,
Uzbekistan.
Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan.
that family went to go through the Jerry. The holy pastor's sister married him.
Who would marry a pastor?
I know.
I don't know if that's a pretty good.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
His mother-in-law said that she prayed that one of her children would be a missionary. She just hadn't anticipated that it would be her daughter who would marry a missionary to Russia. That was not, she hadn't been specific.
Yeah.
And they've been there, what, 20 years now?
Wolfram?
I thought they'd been there 18 for sure.
Did they replace the Overlanders or the Foxes? Because a classmate of mine, Ben Fox, he and his wife were missionaries over in Russia. He, his wife, and their massive brood of children.
Maybe that's the one thing, the left branch, I can't remember. If Bonnie was here, she'd get it straight. We, I don't know if you remember, Nancy, did we, one of them was our missionary that we sent stuff to.
Well, I think they
I
had,
remember, but I don't remember.
they sent things to their daughters 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm trying, I gotta admit, I'm a little fuzzy on the exact timeline of our Russian mission field. I'm a little more familiar with other mission fields, to be honest.
Well, the missionary wife attended LWMS last spring. She played the piano for us. Last fall.
2 falls
Yeah,
ago,
Rock'n'Roll.
right?
No, at Broken Bow.
Oh, did you?
That's right.
I don't recall. Okay, well, I'm learning
That's
things.
what I recall. But check with Bonnie.
Speaking of LWMS, we drove past Claytonia twice this week.
Ah, that's where we're going on night.
On Palm Sunday Eve.
Wonder how they happened to do that.
They wanted to do it 13 days after Easter, which is lovely, but there's a track meet at the school that day. So they said, what other Sunday in April is open?
Whatever.
The month of May exists, people, that's all I'm gonna say. So if I look a little punchy come Palm Sunday, there's a reason. Speaking of punchy, knocked my heavy bag, I broke the bolt that was holding on my heavy bag this week. Landed a wicked right hand, snapped her in the wall.
A little quarter inch.
This was a 3/8 inch one. Quarter. No, it was a half incher. You know, my started yelling at the heavy bag that, food once, so you can come over here and I'll give you one. I don't often threaten to beat up 80-year-old men, but I'll make an exception.
How old is he?
80.
I thought he was turning 70.
Pretty sure he's 80. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Either way, I'll give him a whooping.
Yeah. He's probably not very punchy. Maybe
He,
this
he
punchy.
would be punchy after I got done with him. Anyway, speaking of tough situations, the family of Israel was in a tough situation. Let's take a look at Genesis 42 if we could.
Next you just start.
That'd be lovely.
When Jacob heard that there was grain in Egypt, he said to his son, "Why are you standing there looking at each other?" He also said, "Listen, I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy some for us there, so that we may live and not die." So 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain from Egypt. But Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Benjamin along with his other brothers, because he said something bad might happen to him.
The sons of Israel were among those who came to buy grain, famine in the land of Canaan. Joseph was the governor over the land. He was the one who sold grain to all the people of the land. Joseph's brothers came and bowed down to him with their faces to the ground. Joseph saw his brothers and recognized them, but he acted like a stranger before them and spoke harshly to them. He asked them, "Where did you come from?" They said, "From the land of Canaan to buy food." Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. Joseph remembered the dreams that he had dreamed about them and said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see that the land is exposed."
They said to him, "No, my lord, your servants have come to buy food. We are all one man's sons. We are honest men. Your servants are not spies." He said to them, "No, you have come to see where the land is exposed." They said, "We, your servants, are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. Listen, at the present time the youngest remains with our father, and one is no more." Joseph said to them, "It is just as I said, you are spies. This is how you will be tested. By the life of Pharaoh, you shall never get out of here unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one of you to get your brother. The rest of you will be kept under arrest, so that your words may be tested whether you are telling the truth. Otherwise, by the life of Pharaoh, you are spies." He kept them all together, confined in the jail for 3 days.
On the third day, Joseph said to them, "Do what I tell you and you will live, because I fear God." Which should have been a hint. "If you are honest men, let one of your brothers be confined in the jail. Let the rest of you go and deliver grain to your houses to relieve the famine. Bring your youngest brother to me so that your words may be verified and you will not die." So he did as he said. They said to one another, "We are certainly guilty concerning our brother, because we saw the misery of his soul when he begged us, but we would not listen. That is why this misery has come upon us." Reuben answered them, "Didn't I tell you, do not sin against the boy? But you would not listen. So now the payment for his blood is being required from us."
He did not know that Joseph understood them, because an interpreter was being used between them. Joseph turned away from them and left. After he returned and spoke to them, he came to trim them from among them and tied him up before the very eyes. Then Joseph gave a command to fill the containers with linen, and furnished men lying in his back, and different food and germs. So all this was done.
They loaded their donkeys with the grain and departed from them. When one of them opened his sack at the lodging place to give his donkey food, he saw his money. It was right there in the mouth of his bag. He said to his brothers, "My money has been returned. Look, there it is in my bag." Their hearts sank, and they turned to one another trembling and said, "What is this that the Lord has done to us?" They came to Jacob their father in the land of Canaan and told him everything that had happened to them. They said, the man, the Lord of the land, spoke harshly to us, accused us of being spies against the country. We said to him, we are honest men, we are not spies. We are 12 brothers, sons of our father. One brother is no more, and at the present time the youngest is with our father in the land of Canaan. That man, the Lord of the land, said to us, this is how I will know that you are honest men. Lead one of your brothers with me, take grain to relieve the famine at your homes, and go on your way. Bring your youngest brother to me, then I will know that you are not spies, but that you are honest men. Then I will release your brother to you, and you will be allowed to conduct business in the land.
Then as they emptied their sacks, they were surprised to see that each man's pouch of money was in his sack. And they and their father saw that his pouch of money, they were afraid. Jacob their father said to them, you have deprived me of my children. Joseph is no more, Simeon is no more, and now you want to take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. Reuben spoke to his father, you may put my 2 sons to death, if I do not bring him back to you. Entrust him to my care, and I will bring him back to you again. Jacob said, my son shall not go down with you, since his brother is dead, and he alone is left. If he has a mishap on the journey that you are taking, you will bring my gray hairs down to the grave of sorrow.
All right. Anything jump out at you guys? This is a rather familiar section, isn't it?
Well, I think it's interesting that they said they were 12 brothers. When they do, they weren't anymore.
Well, they also explained how 12 got down to 10.
Okay.
One's dead, one's home.
One is no more.
Mhm. Anything else?
Joseph says, do what I tell you and you will live because I fear God. Translated, is that Yahweh? I mean, they know it's
Yeah.
their God.
Because I fear God.
Okay.
God, big G, is always in Hebrew the name of God.
Okay.
God, small g, can be anything.
Okay.
Also, if you ever see God in the Bible without an article, that means the actual God. A God, other gods, things like that are idols. God, as a name, is
You would have thought that might be a tip-off to them.
yeah.
Here we found a man who fears God living in Egypt.
Where were those Midianites headed anyway?
Yeah, but he had his head shaved and a wig and eyeliner. So,
He was looking good.
yeah. He was just a boy when he left. And yeah, now he's a man.
Caitlin, do you know what the lead singer for AFI looks like? No, mine doesn't. I'll show you a picture. And AFI is a band that had a couple good songs out in the early 2000s. And their lead singer was an interesting looking fellow, let's put it that way. But yeah, anyway, anything else? So why was Jacob so eager to protect Benjamin?
Because he was the only son of the woman that he loved the most.
Byron, Dean, do you have a favorite wife?
Better have.
2 sons from that favorite wife. One, to the best of Jacob's knowledge, is dead, and the other one killed his wife coming out. This was the only piece of Rachel Jacob had left. Why didn't the brothers recognize Joseph? I think we already talked about that. Why did Joseph treat them harshly?
See if their hearts have changed.
Yeah. Last time he saw them, they were kind of jerks. A little bit. Weren't the nicest people in the world. So, he wanted to put them through the ringer a little bit. Any of you have brothers? Any of you want to throw your brothers in jail for 3 days?
Depends on the day.
3 years.
Why was it so important to Joseph that they bring Benjamin?
He wanted to see his own blood brother,
Sure, one other reason.
to see if they treated him better than they did Joseph.
Think about it. Joseph was poorly treated because he was his dad's favorite. He was his dad's favorite because he was the eldest son of his dad's favorite wife. Now that he was gone, that would fall to Benjamin. You want to see if the brothers treated Benjamin as poorly as they treated him.
Also, he had a great opportunity to yank him around a little. This grain was not, you weren't gonna get this grain for money. They had to endure a little. Was it really just a 3 days journey? It's kind of amazing.
Well, if they're living in the southern part of Canaan, it's just across the Sinai Peninsula.
You could have to move right along in those days.
Yeah. We get a little bit of a false conception in our mind of the distances related here, because it took the Israelites 40 some odd years to go from Egypt to Canaan. Well, it's not a 40-year journey. It's a rather short one, but you're supposed to trust God. And when you don't, you get to wander in the desert for 40 years. To what did the brothers attribute their harsh treatment at the hands of Joseph? For what? Yep. God was punishing them for having killed Joseph. Oh, they thought he was dead. Slaves don't last particularly long in the land of Egypt. You don't have a bunch of 80-year-old slaves wandering around, because the work is harsh and the conditions are not fun. Why did Joseph return their money?
Probably part of the test was to see what happens.
I think there's another reason. I think that's part of the reason. I think there's one other reason.
Because they're all Jews.
Mike, your hair's different.
They were afraid that they'd be accused of stealing.
Well, there is that.
Give it back to his dad.
Yeah. How many of you, if there was a famine in Nebraska, would charge your brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles for food? you'd give it to them, wouldn't you? If you had food, you would share it with your family. He's not gonna charge his family for food. He is gonna put the screws to them a little bit by hiding the return money. And, well, Pharaoh's not gonna care. It's not like this is going to bankrupt Egypt. And Pharaoh trusted Joseph explicitly and implicitly. If Joseph says, hey, give them their money back, Pharaoh's gonna go, cool, whatever. We're making plenty of money from literally everyone else. But yeah, the fact that he gave it to them secretly, a little bit of twisting the knife in there, wasn't it?
Gave him some more power over them.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a brilliant play if you think about it. Look, I'm not taking money from my family, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to test them, put the screws to them a little bit. Why do you think Reuben would speak up here?
Solomon and Joseph get pulled off, put the stop to it.
Maybe he had a little bit of residual guilt to that, sure, but he also was the one who saved Joseph's life. Because the original plan was, let's kill the kid. Reuben said, nah. See the Midianites? Let's sell them instead.
Oldest kid always feels responsible.
Yeah, that's true.
Usually.
As the oldest son in my family, I can tell you, we are the responsible ones. And the handsome ones. And whatever my brother might tell you is a lie. Unless he admits to all his faults, in this case, that's the truth.
Also, I told his father that if I don't bring Benjamin back, you can kill my two sons.
Yeah. That's what I was referring to, yeah. And what an interesting proposition. If you lose a son, why don't you kill your grandkids?
Just making a statement that I will do my best to take care of it.
Oh, that is what he's saying, but the way it was framed is fascinating. All right, anything further on any of this?
Sort of like he swore an oath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll pick up this is gonna be a three-parter. We'll pick up part 2 in 2 weeks. Because next week, the only one of you I expect to see here early is Myron. Yes, we do.
Pastor, where did you hear this elderly lady say, put seeds in your pocket so your dead body?
Read it online somewhere.
Wasn't on public radio.
Who listens to public radio?
I do,
Why?
part of the time. Well, I think some of the time they give both sides. I hear
Some
things-
of the time, you say.
Yeah,
I
I know they lean a little liberal, but they're not,
saying public radio leans a little liberal is like saying I could stand to lose a pound or 2. Yeah, I don't care what your political ideology is. I'm certain most of you would disagree with a number of the things I think.
I already know.
But
You're not that liberal.
oh, I'm not a liberal. I'm also not a conservative. Because I don't know if you know this or not, Jesus wasn't a Republican.
Sheriff.
I mean, we have Chairman Mao's wife in here, so we have a vast diversity of opinions. Nancy married Chairman Mao.
Nobody knew about it.
She didn't even know about it till a couple years ago when I told her. That would be the only logical explanation to how anyone could, anyway.
But this person doesn't have a wife or family, right?
I'm not over there.
Why have a wife when you can have any woman in your country?
We were talking about it. If he had a wife, she might talk to
You gotta do
him.
something more.
If she had a wife who tried to talk sense into him, he would kill her.